morning, team. It is Tuesday, January 12th. Thanks for joining me. I'm Amy Corr, and I'm joined by Kevin Van Eck, who's live out of the Goose Island office. Well, it sure feels busy out there in the real estate world right now. So let's jump into our next episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. Make sure you've got your coffee. Like Amy said, yes, 2021 is shaping up to be a good year. And so the market is busy from what we're hearing. And what we're seeing is what we anticipated last year. Thad made a prediction, others made predictions. And in our communities and neighborhoods, we're seeing a lack of inventory. And so today, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Across all neighborhoods, across all communities, across all price points, we're seeing a drop in inventory. And we're going to talk through some of the steps that we can take to help generate inventory. Whether we have buyers or whether we're prospecting for listings, there are steps we can take to make sure that the market works for us in 2021.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. That's right. I mean, the market is moving fast, and we are seeing record levels of low inventory in many different markets. So Kevin and I, over the last 10 days, have been talking with a lot of agents about what to do or how to go out and find inventory for your buyers. So one of the things that we would recommend is, instead of waiting for the inventory to come to you, let's get creative and let's figure out if we can find the inventory. You might have a buyer in a particular neighborhood, in a particular community, or in a particular building that they are searching in, and you may need to find a house or a condo. So what you can do is you can put together some sort of communication, essentially a letter or a note card, and send it out to homeowners. Now, here's the caveat. You need to make sure that you do this the right way. We've seen a lot of brokers attempt to do this, and they do it the wrong way, and it ends up getting them into a little bit of hot water because they may be stepping on the toes of a broker who has a property listed or has a relationship with a seller. So the first thing that you want to do when you're thinking about sending out a notice of this sort, you're going to want to make sure that you check that any property that you're going to reach out to is not already on the MLS, or even more importantly, is not on the PLN. Sometimes we forget that step and we don't always check the PLN, and that can be a conflict if it ends up being on there and listed by a broker. The second thing that you want to consider when you're sending out a note, keep it short and sweet, but you also want to make sure that the seller knows what your intention is. And your intention is that you're trying to find a property for your buyer. You're not trying to solicit their business. So make sure that that is crystal clear, because if they are already friendly or in an engagement or a relationship with another broker, you don't want that to cause a problem. So when you're writing your letter, you simply want to reach out and say that you've got a buyer that is interested in their neighborhood. And if they have interest in selling, if they or their broker that they have a relationship with would kindly reach out to you, that you would appreciate it. In that letter, you should also include that you are not soliciting them for business. You are simply trying to see if you can find a property for your buyer. This is a great way to be proactive. I've seen this work for a lot of different agents, and they've actually been able to find properties for their buyers in a tighter market where inventory isn't readily available or hasn't come to market yet.
That's such a great tip. Everyone cheers their coffee to that one, because we are hearing this. In fact, Amy was sharing the other day about how she has an agent with 15 buyers who can't find listings for her buyers to even see, let alone purchase. And this is exactly what that agent is doing, reaching out within the community. But let's not forget about the tools we have available to us. And that includes the Agent app. And the Agent app has been around for a long time. We want to make sure that we're using it because we know, based on our market share, based on the number of agents, the number of buyers and sellers we represent, we know that if we have a buyer, we have a listing for that buyer. And so the Agent app makes it very, very easy. Now, it's an extra step. It's an extra step to put in your buyer needs. And if you're a listing agent, it's a small, tiny extra step in the DMS property folder. But these are connections that we can make to ensure that we are finding the inventory for our buyers and ensuring that we are going above and beyond. And there's nothing better than hearing a story from one of our clients who worked with one of our agents who said that they know and understand that the reason they found the property that they ended up purchasing is because the agent went the extra step and went the extra mile to find them their home. So don't forget about the agent app. Make sure that if you are a listing agent that you're using the link in the property folder to market the property. It will automatically post into the agent app. And if you're a buyer, put your buyer needs into the agent app. Again, if we have a listing, we know we have a buyer for it.
Great tip. The agent app is one of the best things that you can possibly use for your clients. So we were focusing on buyers in those first two steps, but now let's shift to listing prospecting. So this is the time of year, it is January, and what are we focusing on? We're focusing on filling our pipeline and seeing if we can obtain listings. To me right now, this is one of the best markets to be able to proactively reach out to your network. So let's think about it. You know, you've got 150 to 200 people that should know, like, and love you and should be your focus. Why not reach out to them right now and let them know what's going on in this market? You might have buyers that you put, clients that you put into a property 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. And here's the thing, we know what's going on in real estate right now. Our clients are not as focused on the real estate market as we are on the day-to-day. So they may have no idea just how tight inventory is in certain markets or in certain neighborhoods. So what a great time to reach out to clients that you put into a house 6 to 10 years ago and say, listen, I wanted to let you know that your neighborhood right now is really hot and a lot of buyers are trying to get into, that area. So if you have any interest in thinking about selling, I just wanted to let you know that. And it's a great way for you to, then take that conversation a little bit further and put together a CMA for them and really show them, not just tell them, but really show them the differences in pricing. Sometimes these sellers don't always realize that now could be a great time for them to take the advantage of selling and maybe moving up or moving down. So again, they're not necessarily looking at the market as closely as we are. So make sure you're reaching out to them and they know that this is a great time for them to take a look at maybe being a seller on the market.
That's such a great tip, Amy. And we talk about real estate reviews and doing CMAs with people. This is a perfect way to do it that adds value and may strum up our listing inventory. The second thing would be interest rates. Interest rates are low. Now, they're not newly low. They've been low for a long time and they've continued to drop a little bit, but they are extremely low. This is a great reason to reach out and be an advisor and check in with past clients or contacts that you have to ensure that they've refinanced or they're aware of the low interest rates. Now, you can start it off by saying, I'm sure you already know, but interest rates are really low. I'm reaching out to see if I can be of any help or if you've thought about refinancing. And so that shows your value as an agent in thinking outside of the box in just not trying to strum up a listing or try to get someone to buy. You're actually helping them in home ownership, helping them save costs. And again, even if they have already refinanced, it starts a conversation. It's a reason to reach out that has value that will lead to further conversation about what's happening in the market. So reach out to your people, make sure they've refinanced. And if they haven't, then connect them potentially with a proper rate loan officer.
Great tip. I mean, because the whole idea is that we are supposed to be the value add during the entire time that they own their house. So we talked about your clients who maybe are thinking about a move, who've been in their property anywhere from 6 to 10 years. But what about those folks that maybe you just placed into a home 3 months ago, 6 months ago, and they're not thinking about moving right now, maybe refinancing, but not necessarily moving. I still think it's worth reaching out to them. And here's why. You probably have buyers right now that are trying to get into certain communities, different buildings, different neighborhoods, and you can reach out to your sphere and say, listen, I know that you guys just moved into XYZ neighborhood, but I've got 2 buyers that are really interested in getting into the neighborhood as well. So if you know anybody who's thinking about selling, please let me know, because I've got buyers that I really want to be able to find homes for. When you're doing that, you're asking them for their help, but you're not asking them for something specifically. And it's kind of, this is how I put the analogy together for Kevin this morning. I said, it's kind of like when all of a sudden you hear from a friend that a trip to Hawaii, it's a great time to go to Hawaii because tickets on United are super cheap and the Marriott has like a 50% off sale. People love when they hear that. Even if I can't go to Hawaii today because I don't have the money, or it's not something I can do right now, I love hearing that stuff. And odds are I may pass that information on to somebody else in conversation. So, it's almost anecdotal what's going on in the real estate market. Being able to share that with your newer buyers or people that you just got placed into a home is still valuable. You want to be able to send that information out so that if they're in conversation with somebody who is thinking about selling, they have that conversation and they pass your name along. So overall, what I would say is this is such a great market to be prospecting in. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot happening in real estate. So make sure to pick up the phone and start talking to people. And in fact, I would give you this little push. Over the next 3 weeks, Monday to Friday, I would take 20 minutes every morning and pick up the phone or send a text to 2 people. If you do that over 3 weeks, that's 15 people that you're going to be reaching out to, actually 30 people that you're going to be reaching out to. See what happens. I can guarantee you're going to make contact and you're going to end up with a referral. So go for it. Get started. It's January. It's time to fill your pipeline.
Yes, such a great tip. That can be your outreach every day. Log it in the CRM so you know who you've reached out to when it comes to your past clients and contacts. And instead of wringing our hands and wondering what to do about inventory and talking amongst each other, talking about how you can't find any listings, let's do something about it. Do something about it to create success for yourself, but most importantly for your clients, because that will lead not only to their happiness and confidence in you, but also future referrals as they talk about it with their friends, family, neighbors, colleagues, contacts as well. So thank you for joining us this morning. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Make it a great Tuesday, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys. Make it a great day.